My first thought was, oh my God, I'm still alive.
Malaysia Smoke is still processing what happened to her on her way back from work yesterday. Let out early to avoid the worst of Idalia, she never saw the tornado coming. The twister swept up the expectant mother and her Honda Accord several feet in the air. She had to crawl out of her back window to escape. But looking at the 21-year-old today, you might not believe it. Her doctors barely could.
I made it out of that with no bruising, no scratching, no broken bones. It was crazy.
Her baby, 5 months along, is doing well too.
It was instant relief.
The National Weather Service reports that the tornado only traveled 158 feet here at US 52 by some car dealerships, only affecting Smoke's car.
I didn't feel like the luckiest person before, but now I definitely feel lucky. I wouldn't even say lucky, like I'm just grateful. It was a miracle. Someone was looking over me.
Smoke is now taking it easy and counting her blessings she's alive to tell the tale. In Goose Creek, Blair Sable, Live 5 News.
15 students from Fort Dorchester Elementary School are now published authors. This is through a national student publishing program called Student Treasures. The students in Mrs. Simmons' class have been working hard on their books for weeks. And as our photojournalist Michael Allison shows us, today the school rolled out the red carpet to celebrate all of the hard work they've done.
This guy, I made it by myself.
Here, and then take a look at your books. We have students from as low as kindergarten all the way to 5th grade. They went through, they did the research, they did the rough draft, they did the final draft. Whether they're doing it through illustration or doing it through just writing, it's giving them an outlet, it's giving them a voice.
I did the best I can with what I had.
I wrote about Joe Louis. He's one of the greatest boxers in all time.
Yes, his name is Michael Jackson.
When you look through the book, each one you can really truly feel them actually, you can actually picture them sitting there coloring it. It just all came together so well, and I really couldn't be happier. Do you want everyone to sign it, or do you just want? I was expecting a couple to come back because it's a Thursday night. Started off at like 20 people. I was like, okay, 20 people. I was like, 50 people. I was like, oh my gosh.
The support of the parents is where it starts and where it should end. So
yeah,
the parents are the best part of it.
One of the students, I asked him what he took away from this. He goes, I didn't think I can do that. I didn't think I can get up in front of a bunch of people and talk. And he was able to do all 3 of them so confidently. They are the most amazing kids.
Well, check this out. Friday was one of the biggest days in a cadet's 4-year-long journey at the Citadel. It's a lot of hard work out there. Back in August, the class of 2027 first moved into their barracks. Now, 7 months later, these cadets reconfirmed their commitment to the school and are ready to start their training. Friday, the class of 27 was officially recognized as members of the South Carolina Corps of Cadets. But to get there, they first had to complete the gauntlet, as you see. This is a demanding training exercise with the goal of solidifying the bonds between the freshman class as they overcome the last obstacle of their knob year. Vivian Johnson is the Corps of Cadets Public Affairs Officer. She talked with us about all the hard work that went into this moment.
This is the culmination of 7 events, 7 months worth of events and worth of struggle and every single morning of hard work. And so today is the final push that the knobs have to do to get to being recognized.
I just learned today the knobs comes from their haircut being bald. It looks like a doorknob. The gauntlet is followed by Corps Day, which is happening today, Saturday. The day will start with open barracks, a time for families to come on campus to visit. It will end with a march to Marion Square at 2:30 p.m. in both Grenade.
Rob, we're going to begin with you. What reason did the judge give for keeping Komorowski behind bars?
Well, and plain and simple, he thought she was a flight risk. In other words, if they let her out of jail, he was afraid that she wouldn't come back when it was time for her to stand trial for the crimes that she's accused of. So with that, he denied her bond. But there are some strings attached when it comes to that decision. He asked the prosecution how soon they thought the case could go to trial, and they were told spring of 2024. So now if that trial doesn't start by March of next year, Komorowski will get bond. She'll get a $150,000 surety bond, and there are some conditions that go along with that as well. We've heard a lot about the crimes that Ms. Komorowski is accused of committing, but we haven't heard necessarily how it affects both sides of the family, and they were represented in the courtroom today. Blair Sable has more.
Well, Raphael, it was a very heavy day in court today. We heard a lot of emotional testimony from two mothers, two fathers, two brothers, and two sisters. On one side, it was the family of the bride who was killed on her wedding night. On the other, the family of the driver who was accused of causing the crash that led to her death. Now, that driver, Jamie Komorowski, it has been, she appeared visibly upset rather throughout the hearing and during these statements. She appeared overwhelmed with emotions when hearing from her own family as they advocated for her release. Meanwhile, Samantha Miller's family, the victim in this case, alongside the state, petitioned yet again for bond to be denied. They argued she was a flight risk and a danger to society.
It's torn apart our family. Other families, it's like, you didn't, I'm sorry, she didn't just kill my daughter. She killed all of us.
RB's on me, RB's on 3, 1, 2, 3, RB's.
Anaya Jenkins is a sophomore at James Island High School. She's the youngest member on the Trojans coaching staff and also the only female.
Coaching is the way to go. I've never loved anything. I've never been more passionate. I've never invested so much time into something like I've done coaching.
James Island head football coach Jamar McCoy admits when Anaya first told him in his class that she wanted to come coach football, he was skeptical.
At first, I thought it was a joke, and I was like, yeah, sure, come. And she came out and she stayed a week, and I was like, well, maybe she really likes it. And just reading her notes from what she took in spring ball, I was like, yo, she's going to be really good at coaching football, and this is something that, a passion that she has.
Born and raised on James Island, Anaya grew up coming to James Island football games with her grandpa. She says through years of watching these games, watching him as a youth coach, he played a big role in encouraging her to pursue this dream of becoming a coach herself.
When you're down here on Friday nights, do you ever look up at the stands and think, I used to come here and watch the Trojans as a kid and now I'm getting to coach? Does that ever hit you?
Yeah, it does. It hits hard because it's like, this is what I want to do for the foreseeable future. So the fact that I'm doing it now at such a young age, I have so much time to learn more because you're always learning as a coach. Don't step on my cones.
She hasn't missed a practice. She hasn't missed a coaches meeting. We generally meet on Sunday mornings during the season, and Anaya hasn't missed one. And during those coaches meetings, we have empowered her to share her voice. And, you know, she lets us know what she thinks, what's good, what's bad, and different.
They've just accepted me as one of their own. I mean, it's really nothing to it. It's really, I don't even think about it like male, female. So it's just like coach, player, coach.
McCoy says next year Anaya will have her own position group. She'll be the JV running backs coach. Anaya says she's loved every minute of this journey with the Trojans so far. They're a perfect 5-0, undefeated as they head into region play this Friday. But as she has a few more years still left of high school, she says she has dreams of also coaching at the college level. On James Island, Summer Hector, Live 5 Sports.
They say each case is different and that even having video, even having what kind of car was involved, doesn't mean that case will get solved.
Kind of a needle in the haystack, especially with Charleston being such a big tourist area and the colleges and everything like that. You never know where that car might come from.
And not just that.
It's generally a one-off crime. Somebody makes a mistake, they bump into the car, they panic, they leave. It's not like we have a robbery suspect who's going around robbing all the liquor stores or anything like that.
Here at home, Holt says Trident didn't give him much information or much empathy.
To not have some sort of, empathy, to not have some sort of concern as any entity that large, to simply say it happens.
It doesn't matter what you go through.
A client who agreed to speak to us while concealing his identity said that being connected to an advocate after he was shot felt like destiny.
Can't let it beat you down. And with this program, it's basically like it helps anybody that need that chance.
Yes, and some of these shoppers that I spoke with off camera describe this situation as horrific.
Assistant U.S. Attorney Emily Limehouse says that today is the first day that Alec Murdaugh was held accountable for the millions he stole from his clients.